Greetings, it's Heidi with Heidonian Living. Welcome back. Today's segment is about something called the bug list. The bug list. Okay, so as corny as it sounds, or maybe you've heard of it before, oh my goodness, this is a simple concept that has served me so well. And you'll find most of the things that I share are super simple. In fact, sometimes it's so simple that it seems like it won't make a difference. But this, I can promise you, totally will. So a bug list. What is it? It's simply taking out a piece of paper, setting aside maybe at least 10 or 15 minutes, preferably 30, and you just start brainstorming all the things in your life that bug you, right? And so it might sound a little bit negative at first, but do you realize when those things are just in your head, they are running around consuming energy, emotion, time, brain space, right? Anything that you don't document, pour out on paper, and I do suggest good old traditional pencil and paper. There's something so much more therapeutic about handwriting it than it is typing it or keeping it a list on your phone. So I know a lot of you are just cringing at the thought, but you'll find on almost any of these exercises that I found have worked so well for me that I'll encourage you to use good old traditional paper and pencil because it'll make a difference. And if you don't believe me, I challenge you to try it both ways and see which way, works better. Because even the electronic version is better than not doing it at all, for sure. But I think if you'll do pencil and paper, you'll find that it does make a difference. So here's the deal. What do you do with this bug list after you write all these things out? It could be as simple as I get annoyed because I drop things on the laundry room floor and the laundry room floor is not clean, and so I have to rewash anything that I drop out of the dryer. It could be something like I get annoyed that I have to feed the cat every day. It seems so mundane and over and over and over again. It could be something bigger. It could be, I just cringe every time I walk into my garage because it's got stacks and stacks of stuff and I'm embarrassed by it. Or it could be, I'm bugged by my fence that needs replaced, something that costs, quite a little bit of a chunk of change, not something that you're just going to go necessarily the average person anyway and replace today. So a bug list can be big things, little things. It could be that you don't like matching socks, a whole bunch of different things. And so why create a bug list? Well, one, because it gets all that negative yuck out of your brain, out of your heart, out of your soul, and on paper. So you don't have to run around storing it within yourself anymore. It's on paper. Trust me, you'll remember them anyway, because every time you do something that bugs you, you'll notice your physical countenance changes, your energy level changes, and it affects everything else that you do for the rest of the day if you're not being really on purpose with your mental and emotional management. So what I would challenge you to do is once you have your bug list, pick the top one or two things that you feel like bug you the most, and that could also give you your biggest bang for your buck in a short window. So it might not be the biggest thing, meaning the most expensive or the most time consuming to fix. It could be the thing that you face every single day, like the laundry thing. And so then I encourage you to take your bug list and get a plan of action. Okay, so what is one thing you could do for those one or two items that you've chosen to focus in on first? Because you're not going to be able to solve your whole bug list problems in a day or a week or probably even a year. But if you focus on one or two every single week and say, what can I do to make a positive impact on this? It's funny what you'll figure out, and things that you've allowed to bug you for years and years and years suddenly are easy to fix because your mind is focused on how could I change this rather than meditating on how much it annoys you or how much energy it zaps. And sometimes we don't even realize how much energy it's taking from us because we've just lived that way for so long we don't even necessarily notice it. So I'm going to give you one. Honestly, this is so corny, but it's a concrete example that made a huge difference in our previous home that we lived in for 15 years. I'll never forget the day that started this whole bug list thing. And I've heard of the bug list before and I've done it at different seasons of my life, but this is when I got really on purpose about getting consistent, working the bugs out of my bug list. So my house cleaner was there with me and we were in our laundry room, and the way my dryer was set up was so that when the door opened, the only space really that worked in that environment because of the way we set the house up when we first moved in, it was right near the cat box. So if I dropped something out of my dryer, 50% of the time it went in the cat box versus on the floor. I know, totally gross, right? Like, I'm being completely real with you though. So that meant I had to wash it again, right? So think about if just one item out of every load fell in the cat box every time I'd be rewashing this item. And so my house cleaner said, Heidi, why don't you just turn the dryer the other direction? And I thought, why don't I turn the dryer the other direction? It's just one of those things that's how we set the dryer in there when we first moved in, and we hadn't really thought about it since then. It was just like how it was. So I just operated my life around it with this annoyance. So she and I literally just shifted the direction. We didn't have to move the plug, nothing. Like literally just moved the dryer 90 degrees. And you can imagine how much more I enjoyed, as though one can really enjoy laundry, but you get what I'm saying. It was so much more pleasant to take things out of the dryer. And so I share this silly, ridiculous, simple example just to encourage you that so many things in our life zap our energy because we just haven't gotten on purpose with solving them. And, making a bug list and getting proactive and intentional about eliminating the things that bug us can make such a huge difference in your energy level and in your zest for living, because you're not wasting capacity on something that you could fix.